That's an XS400. Is that Wanda? That's right, Wanda is on the lift. It's on the table that I actually just made from all raw steel. And we're getting back on this project. Now, I'm putting this out there. So as of now, this is like February 17th or something like that. And Motoblot in Chicago is in June. Now, I've never been to Motoblot. I just know that's a show that I might want to go to, and I need to bring a bike. So I'm gonna try to get this thing done for Motoblot in June. So we have a lot of work left to do on it. So let's kind of go over the project and let's get to work on this thing. So on the table we have most of the parts for this build. So kind of recapping some of the things that I have. So steering and wheel bearings here. We have a new front master cylinder, some generic aftermarket shocks, the original grip that came on the bike. I want to reuse this. It's a nice Avon. I have a starter rebuild. I have some sweet like scrambler mirrors. These come from purpose-built Moto along with these nice LED turn signals. They're actually a run turn brake, so I can't wait to use those. The X21, this is a Plus P controls here. So we are going to have 6 momentary buttons to control this thing. This is the aftermarket ignition. I have no experience with this. I don't know anybody who has experience with it, but I went for it, so whatever. And we're gonna backdate this thing to a mechanical advancer and points type setup to then adapt to the electronic ignition, which is for technically like an XS360. So I'll explain that whenever we get to it. Just have some generic uni-pod filters, a new sprocket because I had one on hand, a stainless engine bolt hardware kit. That was redundant, but whatever. A gasket set, some front brake pads, and then, yeah, we have some stuff. So I still have a couple things at home that I need to pick up, like foot pegs and everything, but you know, we've already got our headlight mounted. This is a Bates 5 3/4. And then this is an Acewell gauge right here we're going to be using that I made a nice little bracket for. I will shorten those forks internally. Basically, I'll just be making a spacer right there. So that will bring the top of the fork down to the clamp. We've already made the seat pan. That's out of fiberglass. We did the electronics tray. Of course, the rear hoop. And then this is some, honestly, I have no idea what this fender is even from at this point. But I had it and I cut it up and it looks good on there. Then we just have an MGO muffler. The stock headers, believe it or not, just heated up and kind of tweaked. And then I welded those into a 2-in-1 setup. Very, very simple. Now, eagle-eye viewers might have noticed in this video while we're working on stuff, in the background we have that fancy tool back there. So let's take a look at this. I promise, it's really cool. So this guy right here is a vapor hone. I have been wanting to get one of these things for years now. So this one comes from Vapor Honing Technologies. Now, I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. I just wanted this brand. I have been talking with them for a while and they've been very helpful to make a good quality product. So again, no like direct affiliation. I bought this secondhand from a friend, but it's a quality product, so I'm gonna show it anyway. But this is the VHT 800 Weekend Warrior Pro, and this is a closed loop system. So that means we don't have to hook up a fresh water source, so it all gets circulated in here, and we have our nozzle and spray and all that stuff inside. It's really cool. I'm just kind of getting started using it. So I have brought over my compressor. It's arguably a little bit underpowered for this type of setup, but I do have their decreased CFM nozzle in this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw some parts in here. So for one example, we have a piece of plastic, okay? And then we also have an exhaust clamp here, or exhaust, like a header flange. So I wanna throw both of these in here and I will show you guys exactly how it works. It's really cool, I promise. Now, looking inside the machine, the main difference between, let's say, a sandblaster and a vapor hone is the use of water. So this is our nozzle right here. So the magic of this thing is that we're using air and a water slurry mix. So our gray hose is coming from basically a, think of it like a sump pump down here. So that is a mixture of a water and, pretty much like a glass bead. I mean, this stuff is incredibly fine. I mean, this feels like a paste right now. I would say it's definitely less grit than like your toothpaste at home. But we inject air pressure here. We have we have various size nozzles in here, and this basically will not take away any aluminum. It will not take away any material on the part you're doing, and it leaves such a nice finish. So right now, we're gonna go ahead and put these parts in, and I'll show you guys exactly what the results are. So first up, we have a piece of plastic. Now you will notice that the windshield washer is going to actually spray on the glass here, keeping it clean. I do also have a wiper kit that I will use eventually. But we just step on our foot pedal. And just trust me, you'll be able to see in a minute. And it's just this water slurry mix. And these come set up, the machine's kind of regulated down to its own PSI. And then right now, what I really need to work on is like my lines to the actual machine, making sure we have the right flow rate, and of course, external regulation. You see on that timer there, you kind of lose visibility a little bit, but this is far and away better than a sandblaster as far as visibility from what I've experienced. So there's that. And on this piece, see some of the discoloration. Now this machine, this is not something you're going to want to try to like remove paint with or anything. I guess there are different medias you can use to do that. But for me, this is meant to brighten and like really clean aluminum and stuff. And I mean, we're getting a heck of a shine back already right here. We'll do like a true 50-50 on this. And hopefully you guys can hear me over the compressor, but we also have a rinse nozzle in here. And this is our freshwater supply. And this is using filtered water that's in a different tank. And this is important to, rinse before you pull the parts out to try to get as much of that slurry off as you can. All right, let's get them out. I'm going to air dry these things real quick. So you can see our 50-50. So I actually did most of this one. You can see getting down into this area where I didn't touch it. But if you put this piece of plastic in a sandblaster, it would have just tore it up and it would have created a dull finish here. But you can't even tell that I hit this with any kind of media or anything. It just cleaned it and that was it. So of course I mentioned this machine because a lot of what I do involves, you know, engines with a lot of old aluminum parts. So that thing is going to help us really kind of clean everything up here, and especially carburetors. I mean, I mainly got it for carburetors, believe it or not. So I'm going to try to pair that with, you know, maybe changing out my old soda blaster and converting that back to sand, or just getting a different system altogether. And I still have to play around with, you know, my compressor and stuff and get it really dialed in. I would like to step that thing up to a larger compressor, get the adequate sized nozzle that'll allow me to work faster. But I mean, you saw the results right there from very minimum work. And obviously if I'm going to do like a whole cylinder head or something like that, that's going to take a long time. So I do need to kind of step up, but for now we're already rocking and rolling with that thing. Now there's of course a lot of things going on in the shop all the time, and I've been extra busy lately on multiple things. I've had Seth here working on things with me, and you know, we're knocking some stuff out. But going into spring here, I really want to make some space in this shop and just kind of declutter and everything like that. So I'm gonna have some stuff for sale. So let me kind of take you through some of those things right now. These two Honda CB77s, I need to move these things along. They are like a 64 or something like that, and then this other one, honestly I don't even know the years. So these two bikes, along with those two Bridgestones that I will show here momentarily, I bought with that group of 8 bikes. I never intended to keep these things, so they do need to move along. The purple bike right here, you could probably make a rider out of this one, and then this one right here might make just a good parts bike. I don't have titles for either of them, but you know, realistically I just want 500 bucks for the pair. I think that's a good price considering the rarity and the age, and you know, I just need to move them along. So same price for the two Bridgestones that I have in here. So this one right here is a BS 175, again with that group of bikes I bought. It's missing what looks like the side cover right here, a couple engine covers. It has both carburetors on it. It has most of the stuff. I really don't know anything about Bridgestones, but this looks like it would be a great restoration candidate. Again, no title on that one. And then I also have, of course, this green, what I would consider parts bike. So there's a 1966 and 1967 BS 175. So we got the tank on this one. It has 2 carburetors on it. This one has the exhaust actually. And I think, you know, the pair of them, again, 500 bucks, I think that's a good deal. So I need to move those things along. In the back here, we're working on this CX500 right now. I haven't really shown it in a long time. We're just kind of get rolling on this project. I'm not going to make a bunch of videos on it, but this will be a custom CX500 for sale in the coming months. But before that, I do have my red CX500 custom right here. So you guys have seen the videos on this thing. I have brought it back to life, and it is a great rider. All I'm waiting for right now are a few gaskets for the carburetors, just to have it further dialed in for everybody. But that bike is for sale, you know, right now. I'm probably gonna ask 2,500 bucks, something like that. Clear title, great running bike. Realistically needs nothing. So it's just a great bike. So anyway, if you guys are interested in any of this stuff, I really would like to move it along. Send me an email. I'll put my email into the description, so get a hold of me there if you guys are serious. Now the bikes are located in Missouri. I am willing to ship them, of course, at the buyer's cost, but you know, I'll be sure to make a nice crate and stuff and help get them over the ocean if need be. But yeah, again, I definitely need to move these things along, declutter, get some stuff out of here, and just, you know, make mental space for all of the other projects that I have. Heading upstairs here, we got even more stuff going on. It is a freaking disaster up here. So I have been laying out all of the spare parts that I have, trying to get this stuff organized. So this is just like a pile of NOS Suzuki stuff, NOS Cowie. A lot of miscellaneous items I'm trying to sort out, you know, old CDI units, trash, fuel system stuff, engine bearings. I'm getting all of this stuff, or at least Seth, he's working on getting a lot of this stuff listed. So in the parts room, You know, CX500 side covers. I think this is a TS 125 or something like that, or 175, something like that. It's a little headlight cowl. CX500 custom side cover. I think that's a PW50 tail section. Again, all of the spark plugs you can possibly ever desire. And then just organizing all of the NOS parts. So all the stuff is getting listed up right now. You should be able to find all these fenders and stuff on my eBay store. But we're going to be moving it along. Hopefully I will start selling larger batches of stuff. But I need to get that stuff moved along too, because it takes up not only space but time. So yeah, a lot of stuff going on. As I always mentioned, I figured this is a good episode to kind of do a little bit of house cleaning, so to speak. So back to your regularly scheduled programming. How's that for a view? So yeah, the XS400 has returned, and I'm going to get to work on this thing this week. I will knock out the solenoid mount along with hopefully the regulator rectifier mount and the battery mount. So stay tuned for that upcoming video. Let me know below how long you think I'll work on this before kind of abandoning the project again. I would be curious to know. So anyway, I hope you guys like this one and hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.